Here is my official Patreon. Please join it because there are many stuffs that I can't share here because of community guidelines. But on my Patreon page, you will get adult Harry stories, Naruto, and Deca 2. Also the quick access for other parts of my story which might take time on YouTube. Also there are many stuffs you will get here. Please consider joining my Patreon. Link in the description.
Besides all of the strange looks I've been getting from countless classmates and the whispers that follow me down the hall, my first day back has been pretty good. But I've never had trouble focusing in my classes until now. It's difficult when everyone's gawking at you. I really don't blame them though. Sakura Haruno, the popular girl, disappears for a week and comes back looking like hell with her hair chopped off. I'd be shocked too. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and see my reflection and I almost pee myself. I honestly can't believe that I'm that pale girl in the reflection who looks like a crack addict. I find myself constantly on the lookout for Karen and her gang. The last thing I need right now is a confrontation with her. I run into friends several times in the halls and in class. It's almost always the same conversation, too. I plaster a fake smile on my face and recite the same thing. Sakura, you're back. Blah blah blah, I've been feeling under the weather, blah blah blah. And your hair? It's short. I needed a change. Yada yada. Are you sure you're okay? You look sick. I'm sure, thanks for your concern, but I'm okay, I tell Tenten and she stares at me, eyes narrowed and lips pouting. She smiles and shrugs and I make my way over to my seat at the back of the classroom, breathing a sigh of relief that she didn't question me. Okay, so maybe I promised myself I was going to tell them, and I will. But when I tell them, I want us all to be together in one place. That way I can answer all questions once. I asked Principal Guy to lend us one of the school's conference rooms during 5th period. I also asked him if he could call us all down and excuse from our 5th periods. Of course he said yes, and he then decided to smother me in an unconventional hug, exclaiming how glad he was that I was back. I think he also said something about how the evil grip of cancer could not put out my youthful flame. I don't know, he's a nut. It's 3rd period now, so I've got 2 to go until I have to tell everyone. My heart leaps inside my chest as I take notes from the overhead. My grip on my pencil is sweaty and I have to wipe my hands on my jeans several times. This is going to be really difficult, but I have to do it. I can't keep my friends in the dark forever. I mean, if I don't do it soon my bald head will do all of the explaining for me. You're shedding, I hear a quiet voice behind me and I turn my head to see Niji picking a pink hair off of my jacket. I laugh and try to wave it away. I always shed, it's pretty annoying. I lie and turn back around, my nose practically pressed to my notes. Oh shit, I forgot about Niji and his super deductive reasoning skills. I can feel his gaze burn the back of my head and I sigh. I can't lie to him, but I refuse to tell him now. He'll just have to wait. He almost reminds me of a superhero, super deductive reasoning man. He can burn holes right through your head with his eyes. You don't stand a chance, evildoers and liars. We're given our pre-lab and told to answer the questions before we start the experiment. I flip open my chemistry book to the page directed and I stare blankly at the page, pencil ready. I don't understand any of these questions. It looks like we've delved into some new material since I left and I feel the foreign concepts glare at me on the page. I've never not known what to do in this class and it shakes me. I want to ask for help, but it looks like Mrs. Kurinai is busy helping another student. I try to decipher the topics by searching the chapter and scouring the text. Do you need help? Niji asks beside me, already sitting down in the empty seat next to mine. I blink in surprise but nod. Please, I say. Alright, so here are the notes we started, he tells me and pulls out a stack of paper. I'm so thankful I could cry. Thank you, Niji. I walk into 4th period late, apologizing and breathing heavily since I had run to get there. I had to stay in the bathroom, hunched over a toilet as a wave of nausea passed. But it's not Irika-sensei that stands at the front of the classroom, like I expect. It's an old lady with a pinched face, hunching over the attendants. "You're late, young lady," she snaps and I flinch. She must be a substitute. "I'm sorry, ma'am," I apologize and bow, hoping she doesn't yell at me. Karen and her friends are in this class and I don't want to be harassed endlessly about it. "What's your name?" she asks sharply and I stand up straight, trying to keep calm. What if she calls my mom or something? Wait, that's stupid. All she's going to do is mark my name off as late. Sakura Haruno. "Alright, now that you're done interrupting the class, you may sit down," she tells me and I start to make my way over to my seat, when she stops me. "And take off that hat, you know school policy." At this I feel an ice-cold fist grip my heart. The class stares at me, confused as to why I'm not just doing what she says. But I can't take off my hat. Everyone will see that I'm losing my hair. "Did you hear me?" the substitute asks and I slowly turn back around to her. My feet turn cold and my hands start to sweat. I can't," I say quietly. She sets her clipboard down and I will her to understand or give me a break. "What do you mean you can't?" she huffs. The whole room looks between her and I, tension rising. "Please don't make me," I whisper and she slaps her hand down onto Irika's desk. The whole class jumps at the loud noise. "That is enough of this, if you don't take it off I'm calling administration," she tells me and points to the phone for emphasis. My fists clench and I glare at the floor. I can't believe this is happening, no other teachers care. But then again all of the other teachers know about my condition. A shaky hand reaches slowly up to pull my cap off, tears blurring my view of the floor. "Wait." A voice stops me and I look up to find Karen looking desperately at me. I feel confusion sweep over me. What is she doing? "Young Ladash," the substitute starts but is interrupted. "You shut your wrinkly old mouth, hag," she shouts. The class gasps and the old lady almost falls over. I stare at Karen, surprised. "Karen, what are you doing?" Her friend, Yokoi, hisses. "She doesn't have to take off her hat," she says boldly and I gape at her. Is she defending me? This is the 21st century. "I'm sure when you grew up 200 years ago things were different," Karen continues and the class laughs. A boy in the back whoops and the flustered old woman shakes her head as her mouth hangs open, full of unspoken lectures. She has cancer. She's going bald. So why don't you just give her a break? She shouts and the class goes eerily silent. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. Karen meets my eyes, determined and shocked. How does she know? How long has she known? The class breaks out into whispers and I feel the world tilt underneath me. I grip my desk for support and I breath deeply. "You two girls. Office now," the substitute screeches but no one is listening. My panic attack is in full swing when I hear a deep voice say my name. Sakura. Sasuke, who's sitting in the front row, says, "It's okay." He stands up and makes his way over to me. "No, no, 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 no. This isn't supposed to be how people find out." Tears burn a path down my cheeks and I back away from Sasuke. My eyes search the class and they look back at me with pity. I don't understand how Karen could have found out, or why she didn't tell anyone before now. But now it's pretty guaranteed that the whole school will know before the day is out. I don't answer him. Instead I find myself running out of the classroom and into the desolate hallway. My sandals slap against the tiled floor and echo down the corridor. The class erupts into excited and confused conversation as the door shuts behind Sakura. Karen stares at the door, suddenly feeling guilty. Does this mean that Sakura hadn't told anyone? Did she just give away her secret? What the hell, Karen? Yokoi snaps and Karen looks down at her, dumbstricken. "How did you know?" Karen starts to explain but an infuriated Sasuke approaches her. Why did you tell everyone? He asks, eyes slitting and voice like venom. She shrinks away from him and down into her seat, the fire of her confidence doused. We all know you've never liked her, but not even I thought you were this terrible, he spits. Even when she's really sick you find a way to hurt her. No. That's not what I meant to do. Karen cries, wringing her hands. She can't believe this is happening, she was only trying to help her. Now the love of her life hates her. Class. The substitute tries to shout over the noisy students, but is ineffective. Sasuke glares at Karen and she looks at him with a devastated look in her eye. Damn it, he curses and grabs his bag. He's out the door before anyone can stop him. I dial Naruto's number, trying to get him to pick up for the 5th time. Tears still stream down my cheeks and all I want is to hear a reassuring voice. Naruto. Pick up. I choke out when his phone once again goes to voicemail. Sakura? I hear a deep voice echo inside the bathroom and I look up in surprise. Are you in there? Why yes, I call and use some toilet paper to wipe my eyes and nose. Sasuke is the last person I would expect to come to my rescue. Come out, we should talk, he says and I debate it. The last time I talked to him he tried to practically molest me. As if reading my thoughts he continues, I won't try anything, I promise. I wordlessly leave the safety of my stall and splash some water on my face. I open the door and the sight of a concerned Sasuke greets me. What do you want? I ask, crossing my arms. I'm just checking to make sure you're okay, he tells me. Well, I'm fine, I say and he rolls his eyes. No, you're obviously crying in a stall, so you're not fine. Everyone knows now, I sigh after a stubborn silence, leaning against the doorway. Weren't you going to tell everyone anyway? Well, yes. I admit, but I wanted it to happen my way. I wanted people to see that I was strong and that I can handle things maturely. What are you talking about? Sasuke asks and puts his hands on my shoulders, the contact surprises me and I look up at him with wide eyes. You're handling this better than any of us could, and no one's going to think you're weak. Yeah, but I've kept it SE- only because you weren't ready. You don't give our friends enough credit. Sure, people in the school will spread rumors and say things, but they don't matter. They never have, he says and I'm back to freshman year with Sasuke as my boyfriend. I was young, pink and innocent. He was stoic, cold, and uncaring most of the time. And yet when he did care it was all worth it. His stony facade would melt away to reveal a tender and caring Sasuke. I haven't seen that Sasuke again until now. I smile at him and he drops his hands and I see the shadow of a smile on his lips. It's almost like we're okay again. Let's go, I say after a moment of silence. We walk side by side down the hallway, making our way to the office. Ino, Sasuke, and I watch from Principal Guy's one-sided window as our friends shuffle into the office and make their way into the conference room. My heart is in my throat and I feel like I could float away any second. Some of them have concerned looks on their faces as they talk to each other, obviously hearing the rumor of my cancer. But some like Kiba and Tenten look just happy to be getting out of class. Ready? Ino asks, placing a hand on my shoulder softly. I take a deep breath as the door to the conference room shuts, they're all in there. No way to turn back now. Yeah. I lead the way and they follow me into the conference room. The hushed chatting stops as 3 of us open the door and enter. They all lounge on the Raleigh chairs that surround a long, official-looking table. I see Hinata give me a shy, reassuring smile and I smile back. I need to thank her later for being able to keep my secret for so long. That must have been difficult, especially with a superhero cousin like Niji. What's going on? Kiba asks, not that I'm complaining or anything. He grins and bumps fists with Chuji. Why have you gathered us here today, Sakura-san? Lee asks me and I take my place at the far end of the table. Is this about the rumors? Niji asks, and those around him look at him. Rumors? Chuji pipes up. Oh yeah, there's word going around that you have cancer. I even heard it from a very reliable source. Shino muses and looks pointedly at me. Cancer. I did hear that. What's happening? I flinch and Sasuke holds his hands up for people to be quiet as exclamations echo around the room. I've been gone for almost a week, as you know. 10 days ago I was diagnosed with acute leukemia. I say it slowly and make eye contact with each of them. I hope I sound sure and confident because I honestly feel like I can pass out from nerves. So, yes. The rumors are true. What? Tenten asks, devastated, but you told me this morning that you were okay. Me too. I knew that it was too good to be excused from chemistry. Shikamaru drawls and crosses his arms. Look, Ino says, cutting through the increasing rumbling of voices, Sakura had to lie to you so you could learn the truth now and you'd be able to ask all of the questions you'd want. Sakura-san. Why didn't you tell us until now? Lee asks, tears gathering in his eyes. I feel panic wash over me at the idea of him crying. I'm sorry, but I could barely accept it myself. I say. I knew he was overly emotional, but I didn't think he would actually cry. I needed to come to terms with it before I told anyone. But you told Hinata, Niji says and looks pointedly at her. It wasn't a question. She fidgets and looks at me for help. Yes, but I couldn't lie to her, I say honestly, remembering how terrible I felt for lying straight to her face. But you can lie to the rest of us, Niji states, and I look down at my sandals, guilty. Stop it, Sasuke tells him. She made the decision to keep it on the down low so people would treat her the same. I jerk my head up, shocked that he remembered me telling him that. And what you're doing right now is the exact opposite of what she wants, Ino adds, glaring at all of them. No, I say, looking at her and Sasuke, I want them to ask questions, and that's what they're doing. So, are you dropping out of the race for prom queen? Shino asks and Rock Lee nods furiously next to him. I look at them sadly, they've both worked so hard so that I could win. Yes, I admit. What? Tenten squeaks, she had helped me pass out flyers for 2 lunch periods. All of that work for nothing, Shikamaru tsks. But Sakura-chan. It's been your dream since kindergarten, Chuji cries. I look between all of my complaining friends and sigh, I know. Why are you giving up so easily? Shino asks and I flumble, looking to Sasuke and Ino for help. Sorry, Sakura, but we agree. We think you should still go for it, she says, shaking her head. I throw my hands up in frustration at my optimistic friends. You can't have a bald prom queen. Who says? Ino asks. I do. Why? Sasuke presses. Because the prom queen has to be beautiful. I cry and the room falls silent. I breathe heavily and glare at the ceiling. I wanted to do this maturely and calmly and now I'm throwing a fit like a brat. You'll always be beautiful, Sakura-san. Rock Lee says and gives me a thumbs up. Well, of course he would say that. It's true. Just because you won't have hair that doesn't mean you'll be ugly. Someone else chimes in. It is true. Shikamaru mutters. Sakura, you're way too pretty of a person to be ugly, Hinata stutters and I look down at my friends and over at my 2 best friends. Sasuke nods, a real smile on his lips. You can do this, Ino says quietly and I'm overwhelmed with emotion. I had thought it shallow and stupid to do something like run for prom queen while I'm sick, but living my life to the fullest means living it like I never got sick. Okay, I'll run. My decision causes the room to erupt into cheers. Ino tackles me from behind and I laugh and stumble forward. Rock Lee, excited at the idea of a hug, jumps up and joins. Ah yeah, a group hug. Kiba laughs and the rest of my friends get up and join us. I don't know when I start crying, but Ino wipes my cheek and the kind gesture just makes me burst out into more tears of joy. Sasuke, Niji. Get in here. 1010 calls, looking over at the stubborn boys who stand away from the group. No, thanks, Niji says and Sasuke crosses his arms. I raise an eyebrow and I look at Ino. I guess we'll just have to bring the group hug, she says and looks at them, smiling, to you. No, Niji backs away. Don't even think about it, Sasuke narrows his eyes. It's too late, we charge them, laughing and shouting. Soon we're surrounding the two struggling teenagers that are trying to keep up their cool guy facade up. I find my arms wrapped around Sasuke's middle, face buried into his chest. I hold him tight like those around are holding me. Thank you, I say and I mean it. He might be an asshole most of the time and he sure as hell wasn't a good boyfriend, but he can really be a good friend. Thank you all. I really couldn't ask for better friends. A lot of things have happened that have forced me to push this chapter back a couple of days. The theater shooting was actually in my town and the same movie theater is actually a couple of miles away from my house, so that really shook me up. It could have been me and my family caught in that, you know? So that really made me think and it still is. It kind of helped me post this chapter though, in a small way it's like, OMG what if I had died and then my readers would have never found out what happens in my stories. It was also my 17th birthday on the 17th and my sister's baby is expected soon. So yeah, things have been hectic. On a lighter note I've started a new FIC. It's called the Senshi Games, it's a Naruto and Hunger Games crossover. I've seen a couple floating around but none of them have ever been good, so I've decided to try. If you like the Hunger Games you should go check it out. Thank you for putting up with me in the long wait, sorry if this chapter isn't what you expected. It sure as hell isn't what I expected. Like always review and let me know what you're thinking. Chapter 14. I'm sitting on my bed, trying not to fall asleep and catching up on my alarmingly large pile of homework when Naruto calls. I rub my eyes and answer. Hello? Sakura-chan. I'm so sorry I missed your call. Well your calls, Naruto says and laughs, embarrassed. I remember that I had called him almost a dozen times, each time it went to his dorky voicemail I felt my panic rise higher and higher. It's sad to say, but if Sasuke hadn't have been there I would have ended up in a lot worse shape than I was. It's okay, I say, looking down at the outline I have going, which right now wouldn't even receive a B. I only missed a week but it seems I'm pretty rusty when it comes to homework. What happened? Are you okay? He asks and I set my pencil down, giving my aching hand a chance to rest. Well, this girl Karen told everyone that I had cancer, I say, thinking back to the earlier events of the day. I would be more upset if I weren't so tired and drained, I really don't have it in me right now to be angry or sad. And of course, the news spread like wildfire, and at the end of the day there wasn't a kid in the school who I hadn't received a pitiful look from. What? That's really messed up, Naruto says, did you beat her up? I give a little laugh and shake my head, are boys always so physical when it comes to confrontations? No. Actually she didn't mean it in a bad way, I say, crinkling my eyebrows, in fact, she was standing up for me. What? Wait, am I missing something? Well, we had this really grumpy old lady as a substitute teacher and she told me to take off my hat, since it's school policy. I refused and she was about to call administration when Karen stood up for me. I remember how confused I was that my longtime rival was coming to my rescue. She basically told the substitute to give me a break since I'm going bald because of my leukemia. Naruto gasps, what did you do? I ran away to the bathroom and tried to call you several times, I say, trying to disguise my disappointment that he didn't pick up. For a long time I was worried that he ignored my calls on purpose, but I had to remind myself that this is Naruto, not Sasuke. I felt better after that and I was sure that he had missed them on accident. Sakura-chan. He starts apologizing but I interrupt him. Don't worry about it, everything turned out okay. What happened? My friend Sasuke helped me, I say slowly, testing the waters. I've never told Naruto about Sasuke, and I don't know how he'll react. Well, that's good, Naruto comments, but still sounds guilty. I breathe a sigh of relief at his reaction, at least he's not a jealous guy. What were you doing? I ask, not trying to sound like a prying girlfriend. I mean, you weren't dying or anything, right? At this Naruto lets out a laugh and I do too, his laugh is contagious. Really, everything about him is contagious. No, I wasn't dying. I just forgot where I put this damn contraption. He morphs his voice into an old man's at the last few words. These damn glowing contraptions, always getting lost. I squeak in my best old lady voice. And those damn kids always on my lawn. And being loud on the train. Whippersnappers these days don't have respect for their elders, he croaks and I can almost see him shaking his fist in the air. We burst out laughing and after we quiet down into a comfortable silence, it's a nice thing, to be on the phone with someone and not feeling pressured to constantly keep the conversation going. I stare at my bed covers and smile thoughtfully. I wish you could have come with me today, I say quietly and my smile fades, it would have been so much easier to deal with all of it. I wish I could have, too, Naruto sighs but perks up, but hey. When can you come visit me again? I don't know, I say, thinking of all of my classes and my neglected homework. I can probably come before school tomorrow. That's the least busy time I can think of in my schedule. But, don't you have to wake up early? Naruto asks, sounding pretty offended. Yeah, but it's not that bad. I can come around 6:30. I shrug off his distaste in waking up early. I roll my eyes, lazy homeschooled boy. Or is that hospital-schooled? Is that a thing? But he starts but stops and sighs in defeat, okay. I'll get Sai to drag me off my bed, since he always wakes up early. Why does he have to wake up early? I can't imagine someone like Sai going to school or having a job, so I'm curious. He always talks about how it's the best time to paint or some artsy, poetic thing. I nod, see you then? Yeah. Naruto exclaims and I hear the excitement in his voice. We say goodbye and I'm about to hang up when I hear his voice come through again. What? I ask, having not heard what he had said. Is this Sasuke guy taller than me? He asks and I grin. Go to bed, Naruto. Hi, Mom, I greet the next morning and bounce over to kiss her on the cheek. She smiles at me and notes my glowing mood. Wow, someone's happy. What's going on? She asks, looking up from her desktop and setting her mug of coffee down. Can't a girl just be happy for being able to go to school without puking? I ask, not helping my case at all. There's something more. Spill it. She stands up and follows me into the kitchen. I'm going to see Naruto this morning, I say distractedly and grab a shiny, red apple from the fridge. That boy in the hospital? She asks, frowning. I roll my eyes and stuff the fruit in my bag. Mom, he's a good kid, I say, not wanting to hear anything bad about him. Yes, but I don't want you to skip classes for some dash, Mom. I'm seeing him before school. I grab my keys from the counter, feeling the need to escape before she says anything else that might make me yell at her. We've been on good terms since she woke up, probably since neither of us wants to push the other too hard and I don't want to end this record with a fight. Bye. I call and slip on my sandals, flinging open the door. Make sure if you feel sick at all that you call me or go to the nurse's office, she calls before I shut the door. The morning air greets me and I feel the best I have in a while. I can honestly say that the effects of chemo have completely worn off, which as good as it feels, I also have this sense of doom hanging over me. Soon I'll have to go for my next session and I'll have to go through it all over again. I push those dreadful thoughts down and unlock my bug and get in. I plug in my dusty iPod and listen to music for what feels like the first time in years. Sakura-chan. Naruto calls and hops off of the Konoha Medical Center sign after seeing me get out of my car. Good morning, ugly, Sai says, and I try my best not to slam his face into the concrete sign as I approach them. Sai. Naruto growls, but I just decide to ignore the offending, pale teen. So you managed to wake up. I praise him and nod my head, impressed. Naruto laughs and scratches the back of his head. Yeah, but it took a couple of minutes of Sai trying to wake me up, he says. It was quite annoying, and did you know Naruto-kun talks in his sleep? Sai leans in to whisper this, but I honestly feel like he didn't try to whisper at all. It was like a stage whisper. He does. I laugh, amused. Naruto looks between us, panic evident on his features. That's right, and he talks a lot about you. Sai starts to muse, but Naruto traps him in a chokehold. Sai. You jerk. They almost look like brothers fighting, if it weren't for the strikingly different appearances of them both. He almost kissed me when he thought I was you. Sai manages to choke out and I feel my face warm. Hey! A voice barks and Naruto immediately releases Sai, who winces and starts rubbing his neck. Oh, hey Granny. Didn't see you there. Naruto says and laughs nervously as Dr. Tsunade approaches. She raises an eyebrow but lets their little tussle go. Sakura, she greets and I bow respectively, still remembering how angry she was at us when learning of Naruto's sneaking out. Surely that's not what she thinks is happening now. We all stand tense, as if ready to run at any second. Except running is futile. I'm sure that the doctor could catch up to us and smash us into the ground in no time. Relax, she tells all three of us, as if reading our minds. I'm not here to bust you or anything, she says, and I blink in confusion. I was wondering if you would be willing to let Naruto and Sai go to school with you this morning. I gape at her for a few moments and stumble over my words. Oh, of course. I wouldn't mind at all. Granny? Naruto asks in surprise, and even Sai looks a little taken back. I've decided that I've kept you two holed up in here for far too long, she tells the two of them, and they look at each other in surprise. It's time you see what life outside of the hospital is like. Are you sure, Tsunade-sama? Sai asks, blinking in confusion. Yes, I'm sure, she snaps, but softens. You better get going soon, or you'll be late. She checks the time on her watch, and Naruto and I look at each other, excitement rearing up in both of us. No way. Sakura-chan. I can go with you. He cries and bends down, wrapping his arms around me and lifting me up in a hug. I laugh as he twirls me and my own hands seek support on his shoulders. He sets me down, both of us dizzy and smiling like idiots. Someone clears their throat and we both remember we're not alone. We jump apart and blush. Tsunade grins at both of us slyly, and Sai cocks his head to the side and blinks, as if he had just seen some ancient dance instead of a simple hug. Okay, we should get going, I say awkwardly and motion for the two boys to follow me. I'm still breathless from the close contact between Naruto and I as I start my car and drive carefully out of the parking lot. So is school really different from what I remember it as? Naruto asks in the seat next to me, looking out the window. What grade did you stop going to school? I ask, checking my mirror to switch lanes. 7th grade, he tells me, and my eyebrows raise in surprise. I knew that he's been sick for a long time, but I didn't really consider him missing 5 years of public school. Well, this is high school, so I'm sure it's different in a lot of ways. And I know you didn't live here when you did go to school, so people might act different, I say, thinking of the rowdy students that walk KHS's hallways. I'm sure you'll fit in fine, I add as an afterthought. I'm excited. Naruto exclaims and grins. I peek at Sai in my rearview mirror. His eyebrows are furrowed and a frown pulls at his lips. What's wrong, Sai? I ask, surprised that I'm even concerned. He looks up in surprise, his thoughts growing smaller in his eyes. Nothing, he says in a nonchalant fashion and smiles, his mask placed back on. I look at Naruto, a thinning eyebrow raised, and he shrugs. He gives me a look that says, I don't even know. I wonder what could be troubling Sai, but I don't voice my concerns. Ino scoffs, sizing Naruto up, I had no idea you were actually going to bring him to school. Naruto shifts uncomfortably under her scrutinizing gaze, and I don't blame him. Those blue eyes could cut through glass. We stand in the hallway, near our lockers. My friends are all there, looking at Sai and Naruto in surprise and mild skepticism. They obviously weren't expecting me to bring two complete strangers from the hospital. Sasuke doesn't look our way at all, he just loads up his backpack and slams his locker door shut. We all flinch and look toward him, watching his back as he walks away from all of us. Ino rolls her eyes. He's always such a drama queen, she tells me, laughing half-heartedly. Yeah, I say meekly, also watching my brooding friend leave. Who was that? Naruto asks, noticing the fact that we had all turned to watch him go. He peers around me, eyebrows raised. That was Sasuke, I tell Naruto, turning my attention back to him. Oh. His eyes light up in recognition and then confusion sweeps through his features. Why'd he leave right away? He's a brooding asshole, that's why, Kiba says, pushing himself off the lockers and approaching Naruto. Naruto stands up straight as the brunette arrives in front of us. It's funny, they're exactly the same height and have the exact same hairstyle. Even their personalities are similar. And you? What's your problem? Naruto asks, eyes narrowing suspiciously. Kiba Inuzuka. I don't have a problem, Kiba replies, puffing up his chest. Naruto mirrors him and I hold back my laughter. They look like two roosters about to fight. Well then why do you look like you have a problem? Naruto asks, sizing Kiba up. Ino rolls her eyes and shoves Kiba away from Naruto and he stumbles away, calling out in surprise. That's just his face, Ino says, throwing a nonchalant arm around Naruto. So, you're taking my best friend to the prom, right? She asks and I panic. Ino. I squeak and they both turn to look at me, questioningly. What? Don't you want a date? Ino asks, blinking innocently. I might not even be going. I exclaim and my friends groan around me. They obviously don't want to have to deal with this again. Yes, you're going, Ino snaps and releases Naruto right as the bell rings, signaling for us to get to class. She glares at me as if to say, we're done talking about this. I breathe a sigh of relief as she walks away, grabbing Shikamaru's collar on the way, since he was busy napping against the lockers. How can that boy manage to sleep standing up? I'll never know. I can feel Naruto looking at me and I turn my attention to him and smile tightly. Sorry about that, I apologize, Ino can be a little pushy. Shouldn't we be going to class? Sai pipes up behind Naruto. I look at the pale boy in surprise. He's been so quiet for the past few minutes I almost forgot he was there. Oh, yes, I say, as if just remembering. I pull my backpack on all the way in motion, once again, for the boys to follow me. We enter the flowing sea of kids and the two hospital boys are immediately shoved forward, surprised and offended. Naruto turns around and shoves a pointed finger in the face of the shover, who turns out to be an ox of a boy. The beefy teenager practically growls at Naruto and he slowly lowers his finger, stuttering an apology. I smirk. It's going to be a long day. How can I even begin to apologize? How? It's been so long. This is the longest I've gone without updating a story. I think it's been 1 month and 1 week. Oops. I'm really sorry. My excuse is the same one as last time, I've lost my muse. And I've lost my confidence too. It's really difficult to write and post things online for people to see when you feel like a shitty writer. I'm not saying this for like, attention or sympathy. I'm just letting you know, I want to keep you informed. Informed party. But yeah, also sorry about the length, that's what she said, of this chapter. So don't hold your breath for the next update. Especially since school has started and the production I'm in is in full swing. As always, reviews are like my favorite thing in the whole wide world. UGH okay. That was me feeling like a crappy writer and taking it out on this letter to you. Good luck with school and stuff, everybody. I know I'll need it. Chapter 15. I wrinkle my nose in distaste as I listen to the conversation of two girls in the bathroom, safely hidden behind a stall door. Yeah, I'm surprised she's back to school at all, one says, and I grit my teeth. I just want to have a bathroom break without being emotionally distressed. Is that too much to ask? Have you seen her hair? The other asks with disgust. You could just tell it was blotchy underneath her hat. So much for having the most beautiful hair in the school, the first girl replies, and I pull up my pants noisily and flush the toilet. They get suddenly quiet. I can tell that they had thought they were alone. I collect myself before I open the stall door, setting my face into a cool expression that I've really only had to break out for Karen and her friends. Yeah, so much for that, I say and exit my stall, casually making my way over to the sinks where the two gossips stand, frozen in place. They gape at me. A girl I recognize from my 7th period has her lip gloss wand frozen to her puffy lips. I smile at them and wash my hands, ignoring my reflection. But who needs hair? I ask and flick my hands in an attempt to dry them. You were just commenting on my new style, I interrupt them, my voice like sharp glass. They flinch. Yes, but the one who I don't recognize starts. I take it you don't like it? I push the button to turn on the hand dryers a little too hard and it rings like a gunshot through the small bathroom. They jump, again. We didn't say that, the girl from my 7th period says, sounding desperate. You know what I don't like? I ask sweetly, running my hands under the warm air. What? They both ask cautiously, shrinking away from me. Having cancer, I spit, and that does it. They look down at their shoes in shame. I don't let myself feel regretful as I push the bathroom door open and leave the two in my wake. A lump forms in my throat as I walk down the hallway, my pulse and emotions running 100 miles an hour. I shouldn't let what they say get to me, but I can't help it. I know how bad my hair looks. I know. I just wish I didn't have to be reminded that I'm losing it every second. I come to a slow stop and lean against the cool wall, breathing deeply. As if to mock me, several strands of my hair fall onto my sweater and I put my hand on my forehead. I thought I was coping well, but really I guess I've just been pushing my hair loss to the back of my mind. Sakura-chan, a deep voice says, and I look up in surprise to find Principal Guy looking down at me in concern. I fumble for my hall pass and hold it out to him. I was just going to the bathroom, I say, avoiding his eyes. Are you okay? He asks, ignoring the pass offered to him. No. Yes. Okay, but Sakura-chan, he says, holding up a fist, eyes filling with tears, I just wanted to let you know that I believe in your youthful flame. I laugh and shake my head. I know, I've heard. He only tells me every time he sees me. You can never hear it enough. I don't tell him that that's not true, I just let him live in his own little world and I give a half-hearted excuse to get back to class. When I get back, Naruto is waiting for me dutifully in the desk next to mine. With his eagerness and happiness to see me again, he reminds me of a golden retriever. Smiling softly with the comparison, I look to the desk next to him and I see Sai talking to Ino, and she's laughing. My eyebrows shoot upward. And her laugh isn't the whole, oh, man. What a funny joke, laugh. It's the, I think you're cute and I want to be with you laugh. I give Naruto a questioning look as I slide into my seat and he rolls his eyes and leans into to whisper in my ear. They've been like that ever since you left. Gross, I say and peek over at them, a little flabbergasted that Sai hasn't said anything to her to make her hate him. How did he get so good at flirting? I hiss after observing them for a few moments. Sai looks completely at ease and he's really laying the compliments on thick. I catch a whisper of what he's saying, you shouldn't wear makeup, it's messing with perfection. I bite my lip to keep from laughing and I can't believe that Ino is really eating this stuff up. I think they're these books he's been reading, Naruto comments. What kind of books? I ask and he turns suspiciously pink. I groan when I put 2 and 2 together. Why did you let him get a hold of your uncle's books? He holds his hands up in surrender, you know I wouldn't give them to him. I don't know how he got them. Ino giggles loudly and I roll my eyes. Why he would flirt with her and call me ugly is unbeknownst to me. Anyway he starts but I interrupt him. A few books and he's suddenly better at flirting than you? I ask, my mouth melting into a sly grin. Anyway, he says again, ready to change the subject quickly and looking a little flustered. The stuff you're learning is basically the same stuff I'm learning, he says and motions to my forgotten math work. I practically whimper when I see how many problems I have left to do. How can I focus on school with these 2 boys on my leash? The answer is that I can't. Every time I turn around they're looking into someone's backpack or, in Sai's case, trying to give the teacher a massage. Now with the pale boy, safely, flirting with Ino and Naruto blabbing away about his homeschooling, I decide to take advantage of the moment to finally get some work done. That's cool, I say, not really processing his words. Yeah, Kakashi-sensei really drives this stuff into my brain. He continues and I stop reading the word problem in my math book and I look up in surprise. Kakashi Hatake? I ask. Yeah. He says, how'd you know? He's our vice principal. Naruto blinks, suddenly confused, I knew that. I was going to bring it up, but I forgot. I frown, why'd you forget? I don't know. My memory's just been a little foggy lately. He tells me, his eyebrows scrunch together and he gets a sort of faraway look in his eyes. Dread fills me and the bell rings. The class starts to put their things together and shuffle out of the class. I follow suit, quickly shutting my binder and jamming my books into my bag. We should probably get you back to the hospital, I say urgently once I have everything put together. What? Naruto cries, why? You're having memory problems. That can't be good, I hiss, eyes sliding over the emptying classroom. The only students sticking behind are Sai and Ino, and they seem wrapped up in flirting. So? He asks, yellow eyebrows narrowing and arms crossing tightly. Lots of people have memory problems, but when I have it I'm dying? Lots of people don't have brain tumors. I throw my hands up in frustration, my voice rising and practically echoing around the room. Naruto holds my gaze, both of us equally annoyed and angry. Sai and Ino look up in concern. What's going on? Ino asks, walking towards me. Nothing, Naruto says through gritted teeth. Yes, nothing, I agree, clenching my fists. Sai and Ino look at each other, Ino in disbelief and Sai in confusion. I heave my backpack up onto my back and walk out of the classroom, leaving them behind me. After I've calmed down about my blonde friend, I turn to look at him pushing the food around on his tray. He looks eerily similar to how I imagine I looked last week. Our argument comes rushing back to me, and I bite my lip. I feel bad, and mostly because he was right. I shouldn't have just assumed that he was having some sort of a reaction. He trusts me and I shouldn't take that trust for granted. I nudge him with my elbow and his gaze slides up to meet mine. I mouth the words, I'm sorry. He smiles sadly and mouths back, me too. I shouldn't have yelled at you, I say quietly, leaning in closely so he can hear me over the chatter of my classmates. When you put several hundred teenagers in a cafeteria, there's bound to be some noise. Naruto seems to be struggling with all of the noise, because he squeezes one eye shut tight and a hand flies to his head. Ow. It's okay, I mean. Do you want to go somewhere quiet? I ask, concerned. He nods and I take him by the hand and lead him from the cafeteria. I feel someone's eyes on me. I look up to immediately regret doing so. Sasuke is watching us with cold, calculated eyes. It takes all of my strength not to look down at my shoes. I keep my chin up and turn my face away from him. I'm not going to let him freak me out. What was that guy's problem? Naruto asks when we escape out into the empty lobby. Every time I see him he looks really constipated. A bubble of laughter escapes me and I wave my hand. He's possessive. And like Kiba said, he's a brooding asshole. He laughs too, but his eyes squint shut in what looks like a sharp stab of pain. Worry sweeps through me. Are you okay? I ask, stopping us in the middle of the lobby, and watching pain pass through his features. Yeah, I think it's just lack of sleep, he says, and I nod slowly, not really believing him. Really, Naruto, are you feeling right? I take his hand in my own and look into his eyes. He gives me half a smirk. I'm feeling like a person with a headache. He squeezes my hand. You worry too much, Pinky. I consider calling bullshit and pushing him back into my car and driving him all the way back to the hospital, but I stop myself, remembering his words. I want to go to school. I want to go to the movies, to an amusement park and throw up on a roller coaster. Or if it were just something as simple as going to the park for a half an hour, I don't care, I just want to have some freedom. Hauling him back to the place where he's trapped would be terrible, and I don't want to be the person to take away him living part of his dream. Okay, I say, unlocking my phone and checking the time. We have about an hour until class starts again. Are you tasting anything besides cafeteria food? Not really, but there is something I need to do, he says, looking down at his shoes. It's silly, but I do it every year and I was wondering if you wanted to come with me. Of course I'll go with you, I say and smile, squeezing his hand. Here it is, he says, and I blink. Surely I must be seeing wrong, because it looks like he's telling me to pull into a cemetery. Are you sure? I ask, confused. Positive, he nods and I shrug and pull into the long driveway. I cruise through the cemetery, flipping off my music. It feels wrong to play it here, with all of these people who can no longer enjoy music. Why does Naruto even want to come here? Turn right here, he tells me, and I do. It's a beautiful, clear day, and the cemetery would be even more beautiful if it weren't for the idea behind it. It's filled with tall trees that are proudly sporting their autumn coats and the green grass is littered with leaves. Rows upon rows of white, marble stones litter the lawn. Who does Naruto have here that he visits every year? Here we are, he tells me, and I pull over and park. We both get out of the car and I feel dread fill me. I doubt he would come here every year for his great aunt. He takes my hand in his own and I'm surprised at how cold I am. The leaves crunch beneath us as we pass headstones. I catch a glimpse of one and a lump forms in my throat. Mizuki Yamagata, waiting for her other half. Naruto, I whisper thickly, why are we here? He doesn't answer me, instead he continues to take me further in. We finally stop in front of a headstone and I shiver. Everything is suddenly quiet and Naruto's hand slips from mine. I choke back tears as I read the names on the headstone. Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Uzumaki 1970-2005 1971-2005. Seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of the ocean. Hi Mom. Dad, Naruto says and drops to his knees in front of the headstone. Happy anniversary. Who? It's way past my bedtime and I'm just finishing this. I hope you're happy, because I am. My block is finally gone, but it's funny because now I'm swamped with school. I'll never be able to update frequently. Shakes fist at the heavens. Why me? Anyway, tell me what you like or hate. Or tell me what you think is going to happen. And please don't hate me, okay? Chapter 16. There's a group of kids at my school that dress like life is a perpetual funeral, draped in black clothes and heavy eyeliner. Some people call them lost boy wannabes, and I can't say I blame them. These kids are constantly groaning about how much pain they're in and how much their lives suck. I swear that when I say this isn't popular, stupid Sakura talking, okay? Those kids are pretty much full of shit. One time I saw a member of the Lost Boys shuffle out of the school and climb into his parents' gleaming Mercedes-Benz. They had come to pick him up, and as they got out of the car to greet him, he slammed the door. They seemed happy to see him, even if he was acting like a spoiled brat. My mom probably would have dragged me out of the car by my hair, okay, maybe not anymore, but she would have back then, to teach me a lesson. Even after he ignored their greeting, they still were in a good mood, ready to take him home. There are people like that, and then there are the people like Naruto. I watch as he brushes his hand over the top of the gravestone, murmuring to his parents that are 7 feet below us. His shoulders are sagged, and I can't help but feel like the weight of the world is on them. His parents are gone. Dead. They've been gone for 6 years. I wouldn't have a clue by how he acts. His bright blue eyes are so bright I haven't been able to see any pain, and his positive outlook on life, frustrating at times, hints to no past pain. But this pain, what he's feeling, nothing I have ever felt in the world could compare to this. I watch as his shoulders start to shake. Tears run down my cheeks and I drop to my knees next to him. I brush them away and tilt my head to look at him. Even though glistening drops of tears fall down to the grass, he's not frowning. He's smiling. Naruto? I ask cautiously. He shakes his head. I'm sorry you had to see me like this. He laughs a broken laugh, but I just miss them so much. No, I say immediately and take his hands in my own, don't apologize. You never need to apologize for this. I'm so sad, but at the same time, he looks up at me, still smiling. I'm happy. I laugh a little, confused. You're happy? This is the first time someone has ever visited them with me, and I just can't help but be happy that I knew them at all. They were so great, Sakura. He looks to their names etched into the marble. So great, he repeats quieter this time. Oh, Naruto, I whisper and drape an arm over his back. He rests his head on my shoulder and I press my cheek against his forehead. We sit like that for a long time, neither of us saying anything. A cold wind blows through the cemetery and I shiver. He must have felt it because he gently unwraps himself from me and stands up, brushing off his pants. We should go, he says, you're probably going to be late. I shake my head and smile sadly as he helps me up. I don't want to go back now. We should, he tells me, a concerned look in his eyes. I need to do something before we go back to school. Sakura. So good to see you. Karui calls and I wave sheepishly, surprised that the loud woman remembers my name. OMOI. She screeches, making Naruto and I flinch. What? He calls lazily from the back room. There's someone here to see you. She yells back as soon as the phone starts ringing. She picks it up, chomping her gum and motioning towards the break room, giving us permission. Naruto gives me a silent nod to go ahead alone and finds a seat in the waiting area. Tell them to come back in 10 minutes, I'm on my break. The voice calls again, moments before I'm standing in the break room doorway, hand resting on the wooden frame. My hairdresser is lounging on a couch, reading a novel and drinking from a steaming mug. I smile, having missed him. Even though I had only met him once before. Hi, I say, breaking the silence and causing him to look up from his book, eyes wide. Oh. It's you, Sakura. She didn't say it was you. He stands up to meet me and I bow formally to him. It would be an honor if you would finish what you started with this mess, I say and blow upward, causing my thinned, pink bangs to dance. As if to show him how much of a train wreck it's becoming, I gently run my hand through my hair and pull away a clump of strands that stick to my fingers. Omoi's eyes soften and he nods, understanding. You want it gone? It's probably better to do it now and do it cleanly, rather than risking an extremely clogged shower drain, I say, a smirk tugging at my lips. He nods and leads me out of the room and into the almost empty salon. A mom is getting her hair dyed as her kids, no older than 6, are playing in the waiting area. Music plays softly and he leads me into a soft, cushy chair. He wraps that strange poncho thing that they use to keep from hair getting on your clothes around me. He hesitates before reaching for his electric shaver. Are you sure you want to do this? He asks, making eye contact with me in the mirror. I look over at Naruto, who has joined the 2 little kids in playing with Legos. They're making a castle out of the colorful pieces and giggling at something my blonde friend is saying. I look back to Omoi, resolve hardened, I'm sure. I smile at him. If Naruto can still have a smile on his face after having his world pulled out from under him, I think I can too with a bald head. He flips on the shaver and it comes to life, buzzing. I feel him work his way up the back of my head in a steady rhythm before moving on to the next strip of hair. So you two have gotten pretty close? The white-haired man asks. I feel a blush creep up on my cheeks. You could say that. He chuckles and shakes his head, you two are really adorable. How long have you been dating? I cough awkwardly, well, we're not exactly dating. And why not? I look down at the checkered linoleum floor. Why aren't we dating? We've spent so much time talking and getting to know each other, and there is a mutual attraction. Well, I hope it's mutual. I think it's just because there's been so much changing around me, and I'm at a really weird point in my life. Maybe that's why he hasn't tried to make a move to date me. It's weird, I feel almost thankful for this. I smile a little and sneak a look at Naruto in the mirror. He's placing a flag on top of a teetering Lego tower and it looks like they're arguing about what to call it. Instead of trying to explain all of this to Omoi, I retort with the only question a rational person would ask: how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? He laughs and shrugs, still working the shaver up my scalp. The world may never know. So how come we aren't dating? I ask Naruto abruptly as we sit down at the tables outside of Sonic. He chokes on his cherry slushie and looks up at me in surprise. What he coughs a little, what do you mean? You know what I mean, I blush, cursing myself for even bringing it up, like boyfriend and girlfriend. He's quiet for a bit, popping the lid off of his slushie so he can push the ice around with his straw. I like you, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to be my girlfriend, he says thoughtfully, and I'm surprised. Knowing Naruto, I thought he would have been all smooth words and cocky smiles. This answer was not something I was expecting. What do you mean? I ask and take off my hat to rub my head. Now that there isn't any hair to act as a barrier between my skin and the hat, it's become awfully itchy. I try not to think about the family that is sitting 2 tables away that might witness my pitifully fuzzy head. Sakura, I've come this close to death. He holds up his thumb and his pointer finger, measuring a size that's smaller than a penny. And I'll probably come that close again, or even closer. He brings his fingers closer together, creating a smaller space in between them. And eventually there won't be any more space. He closes his fingers, touching the tips together. I try to laugh, well, everybody dies. His hand falls to the tabletop and he sighs like he's tired, you're right. When he doesn't say anything more, I look down at my uneaten grilled cheese and his rejection stings me. I grit my teeth as a cold breeze sweeps through the outside dining area. I suddenly feel sick and tired and angry and I just want to go home. So much has happened today and I'm reaching my limit. We should get back, I say quietly after a bit. Naruto checks the time on his watch. School is about to end. We missed the entire second half of school. I'm not surprised to find that I don't even care. Then I'll drive you to the hospital, I murmur and stand up, putting my food back in its bag. I'll save it for later if my appetite returns. Whoa, what's wrong? Naruto asks and stands up too, obviously noticing my rapid mood swing. Nothing, it's just been a long day and I want to get home to rest, I say and walk away, not looking him in the eye. I don't tell him how he hurt me by turning me down. Are you sure? He jogs to keep up with my fast pace as we cross the parking lot to my car. I'm just a bald girl who wants to get into the shelter of her bug before people start to notice her. Yes. Okay, he says, not really believing me. He eyes me suspiciously across the top of my bug as I fiddle with my keys in the door. My temper flares up and I snap my glare to him. Could you not stare at me? I shout, causing my voice to echo. The family that I had tried to avoid turns to look at me, curious as to who's shouting. I groan and open my door, so much for trying to avoid people from noticing me. I shut my door, and for some reason, I don't bother to unlock the other door, with Naruto still outside. He doesn't knock or try to pull on the handles. I look at the dials on my dashboard blankly and before I realize what's happening, the dials become blurry and warm tears fall down onto my cheeks. I don't know why I'm crying. I guess I just feel so overwhelmed with everything. Naruto. His parents. My lack of hair. My future. Doctor's visits. School work. My mom's mental stability. My mental stability. And for some reason my mind drifts back to prom, which is probably the stupidest thing I could be worried about. I put my head in my hands and let my head rest on my steering wheel as I cry into my palms. I was so sure of myself just a few minutes ago when I had brazenly asked Naruto why we weren't together, and when I had so easily cut off my hair. I wonder if mood swings and random bursts of confidence are a side effect of chemo. Oh God, I didn't even warn my mom that I was going to do it. And now the one thing that made me stand out from other girls is gone. My hair is gone. And it won't be back until whenever I'm done with treatment. If I'm ever done with treatment. I feel my spirits sinking as more tears leak from my eyes. My life used to be so amazing, so great, I had the best friends and the best. No, I shake myself, you still have your friends. You still have your mom. You still have a place to stay. I wipe at my eyes and look out my windshield, it is still a bright, beautiful day. The voice is less forceful now, think of Naruto. I turn my gaze to him and see his back leaning against the door. He's waiting for me so patiently. I sniffle a little as inner Sakura chews me out. You're being selfish, you could have it so much worse. I wordlessly lean over and unlock his door before putting my seatbelt on. It takes a moment but he opens the door and climbs in. I have both hands on the steering wheel and I don't look at him, but I can feel his eyes on me. Are you okay? He asks and closes his door. I start the car. No, but I will be. Today was nice, Naruto grins as we pull into the hospital roundabout. It was, I nod in agreement, we should do this again sometime. Naruto waggles his eyebrows, you just can't wait to see this beautiful face again, can you? I laugh, it'll be hard, but I think I'll be okay until next time. He opens his door and steps out, but before he starts to walk away he leans down to look at me through the open door. I'm serious when I say that we should hang out again sometime soon, he says, blue eyes like warm skies. I really like you a lot. I feel my cheeks turn pink, of course, just ask Dr. Tsunade if you and Sai can dash. I stop mid-sentence and Naruto's eyes widen. Oh, shit. Sai. We both shout in unison, having completely forgotten our pale friend. He jumps in and I'm already speeding out of the parking lot before he even has his seatbelt on. A/N, Reaters. Long time no see. You wouldn't believe how much has happened in the past month. Not that you needed to know that. Anyway, I've noticed that I'm gaining a lot more attention on this story as I write more chapters. So, new readers, you should know that updates are more or less once a month. Sorry if you don't like that, but I have a life and not much time to write. I had a whole week to crank out this baby, so I guess that's why it is here. Review, you majestic people. Unless you don't want to, then that's fine. Chapter 17. When we get to our destination, Sai is nowhere to be found. We get out of my car and walk briskly up to the school. I ignore the fact that there may be some stragglers wandering around after hours and the fact that I obviously don't have any more hair. Sai? Naruto calls as soon as we enter the school lobby. I don't know why he's calling, the place is obviously empty. Sai. Come out, you jerk. He bellows again. Naruto, why are you yelling? He's not here. I shush him, becoming annoyed with his loud voice. He hides, sometimes. He hides? I stop, imagining Sai behind a curtain, shoes poking out from below carelessly. Whenever he gets really inspired, and wants to paint in peace, he hides, he informs me, making his way over to a trash bin and peeking in. I almost laugh at the idea of Sai snuggled in within wrappers, cans and other garbage, but the fact that we've lost one of Dr. Tsunade's patients kills my humor. One time Dr. Shizun, when she was working for Granny, found Sai underneath the secretary's desk, he tells me, looking underneath one of the tables where they sell prom tickets during lunch. Oh, I say, kind of unimpressed. While the two women were working, he sat between their legs underneath the desk and no one noticed until Shizun had dropped her phone on the way out. He had somehow stayed hidden for 5 hours, he says, raising an eyebrow and crossing his arms. Wow, I say, looking around the lobby for all the nooks and crannies he could be hiding. Did he get in trouble? Loads. He grins. We continue our search, even getting permission from Danzo, our grumpy custodian, to check the art supply closet. Nothing was there besides paint supplies, a kiln, and a fine coating of dust. Sorry, Danzo-sama, I bow apologetically after the closet is revealed to be empty. He doesn't bow in return, instead he whirls around and stomps away, raving about how disrespectful today's youth is and how we need to be taught a lesson. We watch him storm away and I wonder why Principal Guy ever hired that man. They really couldn't have more different opinions on today's youth. What's up his butt? Naruto asks, crossing his arms and huffing. I'm about to reply when Danzo freezes, yards ahead of us. My heart pounds and I take a few steps back. Naruto, what have you done? I hiss and watch in horror as Danzo turns to face us. He couldn't have heard that. He whispers back in disbelief, but backs away with me. I can practically feel the anger radiating off of our elderly custodian. What did you say about my butt? Danzo growls and I swallow. I can feel Naruto floundering for words beside me and we take a few more steps back. There's a door to the parking lot directly behind us, just a few yards away. We could make it, if we needed a way out fast, and nothing. I just said that it was cute. He shouts, holding his hands up in surrender. I resist the urge to punch him. What is he saying? What? He roars. It's cute. You know, round and surprisingly perky for your age. He laughs and I grab his wrist. Stop, I want to scream, what are you doing, you idiot? The janitor, red with rage, pulls his mop from the disgusting blue and brown water. It sloshes and shakes as he points it toward us, shouting obscene threats. I decide that the situation has gotten much too far out of control when he starts charging toward us. Time to run. Whoa! Naruto says and I'm pulling him backwards, not even caring if he's on his feet. I don't look back as we burst through the door to the parking lot and we don't stop until we're safely hidden behind the only truck in the lot. Surprisingly perky for your age? What were you thinking? I hiss and he just laughs and shakes his head. We could have been killed. I yell, frustrated with his lack of seriousness. But we weren't. He shrugs and I hold myself back from punching his stupid, adorable face. We're too busy peeking over the bed of the truck, arguing and glaring at the door we had just burst through to see the girl approach us. Who are you and what are you doing?" she asks, sounding a little annoyed, and I recognize the voice immediately. We both jerk our heads to find Karen clutching her bag and watching us with a confused expression. Is this your truck?" Naruto laughs nervously as we back up, ashamed. Obviously, she snorts, and moves around us to unlock her door. "Sorry, Karen," I say, surprised that I find myself feeling guilty. I haven't seen her since the day she stood up for me in class, and it feels weird to apologize. I've never apologized to her before, but now that I've seen her in a new light, it's hard not to feel a little obligated. Even if she did accidentally reveal the fact that I have cancer. She stops getting in the cabin and her eyes grow wide as I say this. "We were attacked by Danzo the crazy custodian and we had to use your truck for shelter." She turns toward me, eyebrows furrowing. "Sakura?" Realization of the situation comes flooding to me and I fight the overwhelming need to duck behind my blonde friend and hide myself from view. Oh God! My hair is gone. I totally forgot while we were escaping certain death. I shrink away, feeling naked. Go figure that it'd be Karen, my longtime rival in status and appearance, to see my hair first. Or, lack of hair. "Oh my God, it is you." She breathes, eyes searching my face. "I almost didn't recognize you, now that you're. She fumbles, face turning pink. "Bald?" Naruto supplies unhelpfully and we both flinch at the word. Leave it to Naruto to be completely oblivious to sensitive subjects. "Yeah," I smile sadly and scratch my head, slipping my fingers beneath the material of my cap. Karen's wide eyes follow their movement. That kind of happens when you undergo chemotherapy. "I'm sorry," is all she says in return, and I feel another beat of shock course through me. Karen? Apologizing? For what? I ask, shaking my head. For telling the whole school about. "Well," she says and fiddles with her keys. "You didn't know." "It's okay," I say, feeling incredibly awkward that we're having a normal, civilized conversation. That hasn't happened since. Ever. I shouldn't have butted into the whole thing. It was your business. I shake my head. "No, to be honest, you kind of saved me from a nasty situation. By making it worse." She smiles bitterly and looks down at her hands. Something occurs to me and I purse my lips. "Karen." I say timidly. It feels weird saying her name and not some rude substitution. Like bitch bucket or skank sloth. "What? How did you even know that I had cancer?" This is something that has haunted me for the past few days. Surely sweet Hinata wouldn't have told, and Sasuke and Ino can't stand Karen, so they wouldn't have said anything to her either. "Oh," she gives me an ashamed smile, "I overheard you, Ino, and Sasuke-kun talking. I thought you were going to be pregnant or something." I smile wistfully, having heard that enough. I almost wish I was instead. Karen looks at me sharply, looking more like herself than she has all week. "You don't mean that, idiot." I can't help but bristle at the rude name. "Yeah, I'm sure you would know plenty about that, Miss Pregnancy Scare." I narrow my eyes, crossing my arms. Well, at least I have the chance to be pregnant, unlike some stuck-up, prude, pissants, she challenges, and it's almost like nothing's changed between us. "Whoa!" Naruto says and comes between us, placing a hand on our shoulders, alarmed. As if that's a thing to be ashamed of. "Being a virgin nowadays is like being a unicorn," I fire back. She snorts, "Yeah, horny." We glare at each other, neither of us speaking. "Okay, just calm down, both of you," Naruto says, bringing his palms together in a pleading position. A moment later we both burst out laughing, giggling until we're clutching our stomachs and wiping our eyes. Naruto stands and watches us as if we've both gone mad. "Horny? Really?" I gasp, clapping a hand down on Karen's shoulder. Miss Pregnancy Scare? She laughs, you're so lame. I don't understand girls, Naruto huffs and shakes his head, leaning on the bed of her truck. I'm only lame when my heart isn't in it, I say once our giggles cease, smiling honestly. Well, I only resort to stupid puns when my heart isn't in it. She smiles too, and a warm silence falls between us. Who would have thought that all it would take to heal our broken relationship was a life-threatening disease? People should get life-threatening diseases more often. Okay, that was a bad joke. Naruto coughs and stands up. Well, sorry to interrupt, but the reason we're even here is because we're looking for our friend. I gasp and nod my head, I had almost forgotten. Again. Yeah, sigh. Do you know him? I ask. He has pale skin and dark eyes and an arrogant, rude personality. Karen's eyes light up from behind her glasses, which I had originally thought were ugly, but now I see that they fit her face very well and she nods. Ino's new boy? The one with the memory loss? She confirms and we nod, hope flitting through us. Yeah, he's at my house with Ino and a bunch of other people, she says, and we gape in surprise. I'm kind of having a party since I will be in the city for the rest of the week, getting ready for prom. That's why I'm here so late, I was getting my homework for the next few days, and that's where I should be heading now. She finishes awkwardly and we digest the news. So, Sai has already been invited to a party, huh? The idea surprises me more than it should. I don't know where he pulled all of that charm he was using on Ino from. He must have started using it on other kids, too. Do you think we could pop in and grab him? Naruto asks and she nods. Of course, do you want a ride? She points to her truck with her keys. I have room and I don't think you've ever been to my house. I fish my keys from my pocket and hold them up. Maybe we can just follow behind? So, what's with you two? Naruto asks as I follow Karen's blue truck out of the school zone. I sigh and smile wistfully. It all started with Little Miss Konoha, about 1 billion years ago. Naruto snorts, Little Miss Konoha? Hey! That was a big deal. And it still is, you foreigner. Sorry, he holds his hands up in surrender, continue. Well, it started there, and the competition was so heated, it carried through in almost every aspect of our lives. If I got a 95% on a spelling test, next week she would be sure to get a 98 and vice versa. I watch as she turns her blinker on and I follow suit. Soon we were the 2 smartest girls in our class, and when middle school rolled around and boys became as important as school, we became obsessed with our looks, too. If her mom bought her a blouse from a new line of fashion and it was considered in, would beg my mom to get it too. I could see Naruto shake his head in my peripherals, no doubt failing to understand the female gender again. And then there was Sasuke, I sigh. Oh, he says knowingly. It's sad, that's the first thing I ever beat her at. I got Sasuke. My blue-eyed passenger laughs, some prize. At the time it was pretty impressive, okay? I see, and so your latest competition is? He asks, rolling down the window and sticking his hand out. The wind flows into the car as he lets his hand rides the current. I cringe and say reluctantly, prom, this weekend. We're both running for queen. So, you're still doing that? He sounds pleased at the idea, but I say nothing and choose to shrug instead. I follow Karen into a neighborhood full of nice-looking houses and dread fills me as we get deeper into it. Somewhere in this neighborhood is a large group of kids, drinking and laughing. Dancing and living like they don't have a care in the world. And I'll be in the middle of it, searching for an insensitive asshole who I'm not sure I even like. The worst part about all of this is that those concerns are taking a back seat to my current problem. Wind is blowing through my car and I can't take off my hat and let my pink locks blow with it. Because my pink locks are gone, and they will be until I'm done with treatment. Naruto must see my white-knuckled grip on my steering wheel because he speaks up. Hey, you don't have to go in. If you're not ready for people to see you, I'll go in alone, he says, practically reading my mind. Would you be okay with that? I ask and I feel the knot in my stomach tighten as we pull up to a house that must be Karen's. The door is open and warm light, laughter, and music spill out. I park down the street a little and shake my head, my anxiety getting the better of me. I'm not ready. My hands flop down on either side of me as I sigh in exhaustion. Of course I'd be okay with that, he says and places a reassuring hand over mine. I feel my mouth tug into a smile and I turn my hand around so that our fingers interlock. Good luck, I tell him. Teenagers are reckless, hormonal, and dangerous creatures. Especially in their natural habitat. I nod to the front lawn as a group of boys stumble out, howling and laughing, obviously drunk. I shake my head, the sun isn't even down yet. Not to mention it's only a Tuesday night. I can see that. Thank you. We sit, smiling at each other and my heart fills with overwhelming fondness for my blonde friend. He's willing to put himself completely in a new situation where he's practically clueless just so I don't get embarrassed. He leaves my bug and the cabin becomes significantly cooler without him. I watch as he approaches the house and exchanges a few words with a confused Karen, who's looking my way. I wave sheepishly and I'm sure that he's explaining how I'm not ready to face everyone. She nods in understanding and motions for him to follow her into the house. I sit for a while, just looking at the door they disappeared through, thinking about what he means to me. It's funny how much can change in less than a month. I've lost some friends, but gained new, unexpected ones. I remember my time in Gaara's room with Temari and Sai. I consider them my friends now. After all, if Naruto is friends with them, then they can't be all that bad. Karen's face flashes through my mind. Are we friends? We're not exactly enemies anymore, but we're still going against each other for prom queen. Yet that doesn't even feel like a competition, since my heart isn't in it anymore. I honestly don't even care anymore, much to the chagrin of Shino and Rock Lee, my campaign managers. Running feels almost like an obligation. It's something I started, so now I have to finish it. That reminds me, I don't even have a dress for this weekend. I wonder if Ino has gotten hers yet. We could probably all get together to go dress shopping, Hinata, Tenten, Ino and I. It would be like old times, except the boys that we walk by won't be checking me out, just my friends. I can imagine one poking me with a stick and muttering, "What is this new species?" The idea of that makes me want to laugh and cry at the same time. But I guess I don't need them now that I have Naruto, even if he doesn't want to be my boyfriend. His rejection still stings and I decide to keep my mind off of that by pulling out my phone and calling my mom. The sun is setting and she's probably going to be getting off of work soon, and I haven't told her where I've been all day. I'm sure she thinks I just went to school and came home. I smirk as it rings. I'm kind of a terrible daughter. Sakura. Is everything okay? My mom's panicked voice comes through and I laugh. Everything is fine, I say, but I've had a long day. Well, it sounds to me like you and Karen are finally getting over your ridiculous, never-ending rivalry. This is the first time she's spoken since I've started telling her all about the day's adventures and surprisingly, she sounds pleased. I'm shocked she's not yelling at me for skipping half of school, chopping off my hair, losing a mentally unstable hospital patient, and letting Naruto go into a party all alone. Now that I mention it, Naruto still hasn't come out. I wonder if Sai is putting up a fight. Although it'd be Ino who would do more of the fighting. Yeah, hopefully, I say absent-mindedly, looking at the door and my patchy eyebrows furrowing. Sakura? She comes in again. It's okay that you took a break from school with Naruto, she says quietly and I blink in surprise and lean back in my seat. It is? I thought you didn't like him, I mumble. Well, I've thought about it, and if he makes you happy, that he's all right with me, she admits and I can't help the smile that takes over my face. Mom, I'm so happy. You have no idea how much I wanted to dash, I start to say, but I'm interrupted by a frantic knocking on my window. I look up in shock to find Yokoi, Karen's second in command, outside. I roll down the window, wondering what she wants. Sakura, you have to come quick, she chokes out, heavily coated eyes wide. What is it? I say in alarm, already unbuckling. It's your friend, Naruto. Hi guys. Happy holidays. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. Leave me a review as a present, and hopefully I'll have the next chapter up soon, before break is over. So stay tuned. Chapter 18. The music pulses around me as Yokoi leads the way through the mass of warm bodies and the scent of spilled beer is almost overwhelming. I don't pay any attention to the stares or the whispers rippling around us. Naruto, is all I think, please be okay. She leads me downstairs to the basement, where the music has been turned down and people are huddled around the corner of the room, talking in hushed tones. We rush down the stairs and towards the mob. Partygoers turn to look at us as Yokoi snaps for people to move out of the way. I recognize some faces from school as we push our way through, but I don't care if they recognize me. Sakura is here, she says, and I'm greeted with the sight of Naruto, lying motionless on the hard, concrete basement floor. Oh my god, I say, scrambling down next to him. What happened? My voice cracks and nobody answers me. I put my ear to his chest and hold my breath, listening for a heartbeat. The reassuring, strong thump is there and I breathe a sigh of relief. Naruto? I whisper, brushing his hair back. What happened? I say loudly, bringing my attention back to the group of kids hovering around us. They don't say anything, they just stand, gaping. Some of them are obviously stoned. What happened? I shout again, glaring around the circle and until my eyes land on a certain redhead, standing dumbfounded. Karen? She shakes herself. I don't know. I was asking if anyone had seen Sai or Ino and I turn around and he's just seizing on the ground. Seizing. I look back at Naruto, fear settling over me. I may not be a doctor, but having a long, complicated past with brain tumors and then convulsing on the ground at a party can't mean anything good. How long did it last? I ask, racking my brain for the information on the little pamphlet on strokes that I picked up from the hospital. Oh, only about a minute, she stutters. Why? Naruto? I ask and scoot forward, touching his cheek, can you hear me? I feel like it's useless, but I have to try something. Seeing him like this, eyes closed, unresponsive, freaks me out. It freaks me out more than I would have thought. Go find Sai, I say to Karen, tears filling my eyes. He might know what to do. She nods and scrambles away, lip trembling. And Yokoi, I snap, she looks at me, shocked. Get everyone out of here. Please. My voice sounds stronger than I feel, and I glare through my tears at the stoned, drunk kids gaping at us. Naruto isn't a freak show and we're not some sort of entertainment that they can just drool over. She nods and starts yelling at everyone to clear the room. They're herded up the stairs and they remind me of cattle. Soon it's just me and Naruto in a smoky basement, waiting in the silence. It occurs to me that maybe I should call 911, but when I did my research after I found out about his tumors, you don't need to unless the seizure is longer than 5 minutes or the person injures themselves. I remember reading about putting something soft under the person's head and I look around for a pillow or cushion, but fail in my search. I take off my jacket and ball it up, feeling the cold, stuffy air greet my skin. I lift his head and place my jacket underneath it, and while I keep repeating his name over and over, not caring if it helps, I just have to do something. The door to the basement bursts open and my two friends rush down the stairs. Karen follows close behind, face grim. Ino's mouth is running 100 miles per hour as soon as her blue eyes land on us. It takes everything in my power not to tell her to shut up. Oh my god, Sakura. Karen's told us what's happened. Is he okay? Has he woken up? How did this happen? What does this mean? She rushes on and lands next to me, drinking the sight of Naruto in. Sigh, I ask, wiping my tears away, has this happened before? Not while I've been near him, he says, looking at Naruto's unconscious form, black eyes wide. Naruto groans and shifts, and we all turn towards him. I grasp his hand tightly, relief flooding through me. Naruto. I say, and his eyes flutter open, revealing the eyes that remind me so much of a warm summer's day. Except now they're clouded with confusion and something else I can't figure out. What happened? He mumbles and tries to sit up, but I gently push him back down. You had a seizure, Karen pipes up behind me, and after a beat Naruto nods bleakly. I guess that explains why I feel like I had a seizure, he tries to joke, holding his head with his hand and cringing in pain. We need to get you back now, I say sternly but caress his face, thankful that he's back to his normal self. For once, he doesn't fight with me about going back to the hospital, instead he just nods. Can you walk? Ino asks, already getting ready to help him up. Yeah, he says, but any quick movements causes him to freeze and shut his eyes tight. What's wrong? I ask, moving my arm under him to cradle him. Headache. I frown and remember he had a headache during lunch, too. I'm calling 911, I say. This doesn't seem to be a normal seizure, and I don't want to take any chances. No. He says a little too loudly, causing all of us to jump. Please don't call 911. I'm fine. He opens his eyes and gives me a shaky smile. Please. I shake my head and pull him closer, but Naruto, your tumor dash, Karen and Ino gasp behind me. We'll still be there, with or without an ambulance. He swallows. Let's just take your car. I despair, torn between letting my logical, paranoid side win or listening to the small voice in the back of my head, telling me not to overreact. Okay, I relent. We'll do this slow, okay? I shut the passenger door gently, Naruto and Sai tucked inside safely. I breathe a sigh of exhaustion, preparing myself for the drive to the hospital. The sun is all the way down and stars are beginning to dust the black and blue sky. I look at Ino and Karen standing in front of me and I could almost laugh. They don't like each other at all, but at the moment, they seem to have forgotten. They watched as I ushered the two boys in, worried expressions on both of their pretty faces. The crickets start to chirp and I smile tiredly at both of them. So, I'll see you guys later? They both nod, and Ino asks, do you want us to go with you? I shake my head. No, it'd be better if I faced the music alone. You know how it is. I shouldn't have brought Sai here, Ino says, hugging herself and looking down at the ground. It wasn't a good idea, and now, Naruto's dash. No, Karen interrupts her. I just stood there, should have done something dash. Both of you, I snap, clenching my fists. Stop. What happened to him isn't your guys' fault. They nod weakly and silence fills the air. I like your hair, Ino says after a few awkward moments, tears filling her eyes. This is the first time she's addressed my new style, but I could feel her eyes on my exposed head when I was helping Naruto up with Sai. Thanks, I guess. I say, trying not to shoot back, what hair? I mean it, her voice trembles and she starts forward, arms outstretched for a hug. I'm going now, I say, backing away from her reach. Not even Sai would miss the hurt in her eyes. She steps back too and resumes hugging herself. I can't explain why I don't want any physical contact. Maybe because I feel like I don't deserve it. Maybe it's because I know deep down that it isn't their fault. It's mine. If I hadn't been selfish and shallow and just gone in with him, maybe I could have somehow prevented it. It could have been the smoke, or the loud music, or the amount of people. Or maybe even the lack of a familiar person. Who knows what could have triggered it? I jingle my keys and start to turn around when a hand catches my arm. "It wasn't your fault either, Sakura," Karen says. "See you guys tomorrow." I avoid their gazes by casting my eyes downward. If I had any hair, it would be covering them. I round the front of my bug and get in the driver's side before they say anything else. The silence is thick as I start the car. "How do you feel?" I ask as I adjust my mirrors. I'm trying to look like I'm busy, but in reality I'm stalling. I'm not sure if Naruto is really ready for me to get going. "Good," he says, but his eyes are squeezed shut and he's sitting back in his chair, head on the headrest. He looks like he feels anything but good. "Okay," I hesitate, "but let me know if you start to feel weird." "I will," he bites out, but it's not impatient or mean. It's almost like it pains him to talk. Worry hangs over me like a black cloud as I pull out of the neighborhood. What if he has another seizure while I'm driving? UG. Sakura? I hear from the back seat and I'm momentarily taken back at Sai's appropriate use of my name. "Yeah? How does Ino Yamanaka feel about me?" he asks, so quiet I have to strain to hear him. I'm surprised that he doesn't realize what is so brazenly obvious to everyone else. "I think she likes you," I say distractedly and pull onto the highway so that it doesn't take as long to get to the hospital. "Likes me?" "Yeah, likes you," I say. "But doesn't Naruto like me?" He mumbles and I hear Naruto snort beside me. "You wish." "What are you asking?" I ask Sai, peeking at him in the mirror. He doesn't sound like his normal, blank self. In fact, when I look at him, his eyebrows are scrunched together worriedly. "I don't want her to like me." "Sai, you are so confusing," Naruto laughs, but stops and presses a hand to his forehead, cringing. "Stop talking," I say softly, but sternly. "Both of you." They hum in return and I turn my attention back to the road. I fret about what could be wrong with my blue-eyed friend. Even though the answer is obvious, right in front of me, I don't want to believe it. If Naruto has had this health condition, these tumors, and gotten over it, he can do it again. Tsunade's words begin to come back to me. Now that Naruto is 16, he is legally allowed to refuse radiation and chemotherapy, and that's what he has chosen to do. Naruto's refusing. Doesn't he know it could save his life? Why is he committing suicide? There has to be a way to convince him to begin treatment again. Anytime I think about him becoming anything but better, a sharp, icy pain shoots through my heart. He has to get better. He has to. Naruto. The orderlies at the front desk gasp as Sai and I enter through the sliding doors, Naruto in the middle of us, arms wrapped around our shoulders. He had a seizure, I inform them, and one rushes to where we're standing while the other picks up her phone and dials a number. "How long did it last?" The one in front of us asks, pulling a small flashlight from her scrubs and opening one of Naruto's eyes, checking his signs. He moans in response. He's practically unconscious. "How long did it last?" she asks again, with a worried tone. "About a minute," Sai says, and I see that he's looking down at Naruto's unmoving figure with fear in his eyes. "Did he hurt himself while the seizure was occurring?" she asks while she's taking the pulse on his neck. I flounder. "I don't know. I wasn't exactly there." When I finish, the orderly looks at me sharply. "Were you there, Sai?" she asks and looks back down at her watch, timing Naruto's heart rate. "No, Tatsumi-san, I was busy with a girl," he says innocently, and the woman glares daggers at me again. I want to say, I know I screwed up, but instead I just purse my lips and hang my head. "There they are," the other orderly says as a team of nurses come out of the elevator across from the lobby. They have a hospital bed in tow and my heart starts beating faster. "Bring him," Tatsumi orders, and we trek slowly and carefully as the nurses roll up quickly to meet us. They lift him from our grasp and place him on the white sheets. As soon as he's on, they're rolling away, examining him and shooting medical lingo at each other that I don't understand. We start to follow but Tatsumi and her friends stop us. You two stay, we have some paperwork you need to fill out. After a moment or two of watching Naruto disappear inside the elevator, flanked by the team of nurses, we both nod slowly, a little dumbstruck. We make our way towards the plush chairs set in front of a four-sided, glass-covered fireplace. This hospital really is nice. Tsunade has done a good job, I think numbly. They come moments later with some papers and 2 clipboards. Will he be okay? I can't help but ask in a small voice as I receive my clipboard. Well, we'll see, one of them says sharply and crosses her arms. He shouldn't have had any more reactions for at least another year. I wince at the accusation in her eyes and words and look down at the paperwork. They set pens down on the coffee table in front of us and leave, talking quietly to each other. Sai immediately picks up a pen and goes to work on his form, but I can't bring myself to do the same. Where is Naruto now? What did all of the medical things they were saying mean? Is he going to be okay? Was it my fault? The way the nurse looked at me could answer the last one. But, I guess I don't blame them. The boys should have been checked in hours ago, but no, I had to go and shave my head. God, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have just left Sai out of my sight. He's a mental patient, what was I thinking? I shake my head and try to clear my thoughts. I have to fill this paperwork out. They have to know what happened. The questions are relatively simple, asking where, when, and how. I put on my AP language pants and answer in the most clear, sophisticated manner I can muster. I'm not stupid, and I'm not irresponsible, and I want them to see that. I stop mid-sentence when I hear Sai's pen strokes, they're long and irregular. Not like my own frantic scribbling. I blink and turn to look at his paper. What is he doing? He has his paper flipped so the blank side shows and he's drawing what looks like 2 forms. I gape at the drawing and look at his face, he looks absolutely concentrated. His coal-black eyes are so intense I wouldn't be surprised if he burned a hole through the paper. He's probably not even aware that I'm Luki. Don't look yet, his deep voice says, jerking me out of my thoughts. I smile sheepishly. So much for not aware of me. I respect his wishes by turning my gaze away back to my own undecorated paper. I only have a little bit left to fill out, but I can't bring myself back to focusing on it. I sigh and set my clipboard down on the table in front of me. I wonder when they'll let us see him. If they'll let us see him. I can only imagine how angry Dr. Tsunade will be. She probably won't let me take him anywhere ever again. I sigh and hang my head, so much for asking him to be my date to prom. But I guess it's stupid to worry about that, since my would-be date was just abducted by worried-looking nurses and rolled to the emergency room. Maybe I hadn't been too paranoid. Maybe I had been right to want to call 911. I mean, just look at how the nurses reacted to us telling them what happened. Well, whatever happens now is out of my control, even though I hate it, I just have to wait and see. My gaze wanders around the lobby and it lands on the grand piano I saw the first day I was here. I remember how nervous I had been. How terrified. My biggest concern was having to lose my hair. I snort and shake my head. It's only been about 2 weeks and I'm almost a completely different person. My smile fades as I keep my eyes on the piano. I swore to myself that I would never play again. I would never brush my fingers over the ivory, smooth keys. Never press lightly and close my eyes as a soft note, quieter and more peaceful than the wind whispered out. It was the only time when my father would pay any attention to me. As if my playing was all I had going for me. Whenever I finished a piece I refused to enjoy, he would stand up clumsily since he would only ask me to play after several shots and place a heavy hand on my head. It took all of my self-control not to shove it off of me or jerk away. I hated him. I hated everything about him. And I wanted so desperately to hate playing. But I didn't. I loved it. I loved it the way a runner loves running or the way an actor loves the stage. Even though the lessons were long and arduous, I soon became amazed with what I could do. What I could create: music, art, life. Most of the time I didn't even need sheet music. I would just sit down and let the music carry me away. I often felt like it wasn't even me that was creating it. I felt as if I was just a spectator to my own fingers. And after he betrayed us, I swore I would never play again. I wonder if he's teaching his new child to play. I wonder if he still drinks and if it was really worth it, uprooting our lives just so he could have a shot at a new one, with a younger, fresher woman.